All right, you ready? What are you so nervous about?
I just gotta, for a minute, just.
Are you good?
Yeah, I'm gonna be cheesing so hard.
It's fun. All right. Hey guys, I'm Jessica. I'm a wedding photographer here in Alabama.
I'm Clay. I'm Jessica's husband. We're a husband and wife team. I'm a full-time supporter of her on wedding days and for the people getting married.
Yep. Together we like to help make our couples feel comfortable throughout the wedding day. Right now, speaking of being comfortable, we're not very comfortable doing this first YouTube video. So we have made a Q&A for like recently engaged couples. We're just going to go through questions that we hear a lot, hoping that you guys can kind of learn from this and maybe it'll help encourage you on not feeling stressed or feeling swayed one way or the other. It'll kind of make you feel more normal towards the situation. So we're just going to hop right on in. We each have a list, and Clay will be asking me the questions, and I'll just be trying to answer them to just being brutally honest, raw. We're not going to edit this video. It is what it is. So here we go.
So is it normal to feel excited one minute and overwhelmed the next after getting engaged?
Yes. I mean, for me, it would. I mean, you have all these people coming up to you, congratulating you, giving you their advice, all of these things. And I feel like just that within itself of getting engaged is overwhelming. So I feel like it's completely normal to feel that way. But just to reassure you, like I said, that is normal, but you don't have to be stressed out about it. Just take it for what it is and soak up the moment, and the time will come when you two can sit down and start talking about planning a wedding. Don't feel rushed into having a certain date like right after you've gotten engaged. That's very stressful. All right.
Are couples already behind if they have not planned much yet?
No. I feel like every couple is different. Some couples want to get married in 6 months. Some couples want to wait 5 years. I feel like it depends on each couple. It depends on your personal situation, your job situation, your family situation, where you want to have the wedding, that kind of thing. So I don't like it when there's this pressure of like, oh, you have to have a date set and you have to, wow, I get really bright in here. You don't have to have all these things figured out. That's specific to you guys, and I would highly encourage you to sit down and talk about what would be your normal, whether that is 6 months or 5 years. Typically, I like to tell couples 12 to 14 months is like, that's how far out you need to start booking your venue and all that kind of stuff. But we'll get into more of that here in a minute.
So what's the biggest thing that couples stress about that doesn't really matter as much as they think it does?
Other people's opinions. That's kind of a salty one, but I mean, every aunt, uncle, cousin, parents, like everybody's going to have their opinion and their experience. And, I just feel like it's about you too. It's not about what your mom wants, what your aunt wants, that kind of thing. And I feel like, I mean, even with our situation, which our situation was a little different, but I felt pressured to do certain things because of my family. And it's not that my family was pressuring me. Like, they weren't pressuring me to do anything. It's just I felt like I had to do that. Like, that was the right thing to do. And looking back on it now, I know my family would have supported me either way, whatever we decided to do as far as how we got married. But my biggest advice for that is, like, don't feel pressured by other people and don't let that sway you one way or the other. But yeah.
What if they hate being in front of the camera or feel awkward about it?
I get this every time. So when we do engagement sessions, I always give every couple like my little spiel. And a lot of people that are watching this video probably already know about what I'm talking about. I do it with every client. It doesn't matter if it's a couple, if you're one of my graduates, or, mama to be. It does not matter. I give everybody the same conversation, and that is, it is normal to feel awkward. It is normal to not know what to do. Unless you are a full-time model that does this regularly, like you're going to feel that way no matter what. And it's my job to gauge you on like where you're going to feel comfortable, and it's my job to prep you and let you know this is completely normal to feel this way. It's going to take 15-20 minutes is what I normally tell our engaged couples when we do their engagement session. I'll be like, hey guys, this is going to feel weird for the first 15 minutes. Don't worry about it. After that first 15 minutes, you're going to start noticing that you're not as anxious, it's not as weird feeling, and you're more in the moment. And I feel like the more open and in the moment you two can be, or anybody that, is a client in general, the better experience you're going to have. And the better experience you're going to have better photos. And that's what I stand behind with that. So.
Do couples need to know how to pose or how to look like what they see on Instagram?
No. Like I said before, you don't need to know how to pose. I feel like comparison is a thief of joy. And I love it when people send me Pinterest or Instagram inspo. So I don't want that to be miscommunicated here. Sometimes I prefer it just because when I'm having trouble seeing what a client's vision might be, them sending me photos of something that they're wanting for their session kind of helps me figure out where they're at. But on the contrary to that, I feel like you also need to be realistic. Like, your experience is not going to be exactly the same as that person on Instagram or Pinterest. It's going to be yours, and theirs can't be yours, if that makes sense. So we can do something similar, but I always just try to be very real with people that don't compare yourself to somebody else. If you want it as inspo, fine. That's good. Like, I'm glad that we have a direction for your vision and what you want. But you also need to be open and realistic that that's going to be specific to you, not, exactly like what you see on Instagram.
So, does wedding days normally go as planned?
What do you think?
Not as often as they should, but
I would just say every time they don't go as planned.
Yeah.
Like some is major, some it's minor. Like sometimes it's something so small but it never goes as planned. It doesn't. That's why it's so important to me to have like flexibility in your timeline, extra flexibility upon what you would think. Because the more people you have involved in your wedding party and everything else, it's just, there's too many moving parts that people don't realize that it takes an extra few minutes here and there and a few minutes there and here. And those few minutes add up, and next thing you know, half an hour is gone, and we can't get that back. So I always highly encourage a very flexible timeline. And no, I don't think they ever go as planned.
So what happens if the timeline runs late or things feel rushed?
I feel like if I can tell that the couple knows that we're behind, like they're evident, because most of the time, like, we've been very blessed with very chill couples. We've only had one or two that would verbally be like, we're behind. Like, most of the time people just trust us to do what we do, and honestly, that's the best route to take. And I feel like that needs to be said for any vendor that you hire. It doesn't matter if it's photography, videography, DJ or whatever. It's like, you need to know that you're hiring a true professional, an experienced professional that values your experience over anybody else's, and you need to trust them. You're paying them to provide a good experience for your day. You need to make sure that you're choosing the right one that you don't have to worry about. But I feel like if you're running behind on your timeline at that point, if I can tell that the couple is stressed, I try to talk to the couple. Most of the time it's the bride. Every now and then it'll be a groom, which is just kind of different. But most of the time it's the bride that's stressed because she's back there. Makeup is normally always running late. And they start realizing that it's, she's the last one to get done and this and that. But I always like to have a little pep talk with the bride and just reassure them that everything's fine. Even if it's not, I'm just going to tell them that it's fine, because that's what they need to hear. And we're going to do whatever we have to do to make that happen for them. But if we literally if we don't have a way to squeeze everything in, I always try to gauge what is most important to the couple. Like, moments over perfection, like moments over all of the things that she had originally wanted to do. What is the most important? And we prioritize what is important over the timeline. So that goes back to having flexibility.
So how do you help couples stay calm when the day feels busy or overwhelming?
What number are we on?
We are on number 8.
Oh, wow, we've already done 8. Oh, okay. So stay calm when the day feels busy or overwhelming. I just try to verbally reassure them. I offer if there's anything that, Clay or I can get for them. Sometimes just showing people that you care, whether it's stopping in the middle of what you're doing to listen to them vent or offer them a water or to go get them a snack or whatever, because everybody else is busy doing everything else. Just giving somebody quality time and reassuring them verbally, everything's great, how are you feeling, like, that kind of thing. And that is one thing that God has given me a special gift with, is like gauging people out with discernment. I feel like I can read people pretty good, and I can kind of sense when people are stressed, and I just always like to make sure that person knows that we're doing everything that we can to take care of them before I leave the room or whatever. So, and we've never had anything super stressful happen. Like I nearly have to have a reassuring conversation with every bride. I do it anyway, just because they need to hear it. You guys need to hear it. You need to be reassured that everything's good. We're doing it, and everything looks great. Can I get you something? Like that, to me, that's just showing love and me doing my job. So.
What does having a second person there change for the couple?
I'm going to get you to answer this one here in a minute. I love having a second shooter or even an assistant. It doesn't have to be a second photographer. Even just having an assistant there sometimes, especially if you don't have a planner or coordinator. If you have not hired one of those, it's going to be, I don't want to say stressful because I don't want to set you up for failure, but I feel like if you don't have a coordinator or a planner, that job is going to default to us. So if it's just me there and I don't have an assistant or a second shooter, I'm basically doing 2 or 3 jobs. And that makes it harder for me to focus on giving you a quality experience that you paid for, that you deserve, all of those kind of things. So in the case of not having a planner or a coordinator, a lot of times an assistant or a second photographer will default to those things that give me more time to be the professional creative that I am and still keep things on timeline, keep everything managed, that kind of thing. But it does, I don't know. I don't see how I could do a full wedding day without one, just being honest, because there's so many things that people don't see behind the scenes that we have to do, whether it's silly or serious. But what do you think? What's it like?
Just family pictures alone, if it's just Jessica by herself, she has to find, the groom's parents, his grandparents, and she could be taking pictures at that point, but she's having to hunt people that she don't know.
Yeah.
So when we work together, I try to know everybody. I'm a friendly guy. I talk to anybody, and I'll try to stay 2 groups ahead. So everybody's there waiting to get their picture took. Things move slow. It's very efficient. It's a good process that we do.
You're like the social butterfly, and I'm not. I'm like the one that's quiet and likes to catch all the moments, and you're the one talking to everybody, becoming besties. But yeah, and I agree with him. Family photos that alone is very stressful, and whether you have the nicest family or you have it doesn't matter, big or small, dramatic, non-dramatic, family photos are always going to be semi-stressful, just because like you said, you're having to coordinate so many things. And when you're doing that by yourself as a photographer, I don't know who Aunt Sally is, and Aunt Sally's 2 football fields away, and it's her turn to have her photo made. So if I don't have somebody like collecting all these people, and if I don't have a list to at least go by, it just kills the timeline. So yeah, No, I think you nailed that for sure with family photos.
So, what would you tell a couple that just got engaged this month?
Congratulations, first of all. Second of all, I would not be in any kind of rush to plan anything. I know it's easy to do when you're excited and you're like me, you just, yay, I want to start doing this right away. My biggest advice is sit down together after you've enjoyed the moment of like, oh, we're engaged, because there's that kind of honeymoon feeling of like, oh, we're engaged, that kind of thing. And we are in the holidays. Christmas was literally yesterday. But I would just take my time. I would sit down together. Make sure you two have several conversations about realistically what what kind of, like, how far are we planning out? Like, when do we want to get married? When do we want to get married? Where do we want to get married? Like, do we want to do a honeymoon? Like, there's just so many things that I feel like has to be agreed upon to have a great experience. And I feel like it needs to be both parties on the same page, not just you telling, your man, hey, I want to do this, but your man also needs to be like, I want to do this too. And I see it all the time, like, and I know, like, I mean, Clay's very laid back. 9 times out of 10, he's like, whatever you want to do. But I feel like with a wedding, it's so much more than that. It's not just her day. Like, it's the guy's day, too. It's your day together. And the more input and honesty that you have with your fiance up front about what you want, the easier it's going to be for you to plan your wedding, the better experience you both are going to have. And if you have a better experience, then I mean, what else can you beat with that? So my biggest advice would just be take your time, do your research on your vendors. Don't be in a rush to do anything. I personally prefer smaller wedding parties and ceremony. I just feel like the less moving parts you have in a wedding party, the more intentional it's going to be for you too as a couple. So, but yeah. You missed a question. Question 10.
When couples look back at their photos, what do they usually care about the most?
Bringing them back to the memory, the moment. One of my favorite things I love to do is I love to just be a fly on the wall. Like, in first looks, mom helping her put the dress on, sisters having a special moment, dad and son having a special moment. There's so many little moments that go by that it's impossible for me to catch every single one, but I try to really hyper focus on those things. And most of the time with our couples, like, that's the biggest feedback we get is they're like, they didn't even realize that we were taking pictures in that moment, and they got to relive that moment because they didn't know, we were so stealth with it and trying to be quiet about it. But that, to me, is what's important to me, is so when you go back and look in your gallery, you're not just looking at a beautiful couple photos gallery and all of the basic things, but you get to see the picture of your mom looking at you and your sister while y'all are, having that special moment. You didn't even realize your mom was shedding a tear, and I caught a picture of it, and you get to see that moment that you didn't even realize happened, and, that kind of thing. So to me, that's what's important. But like I said, like, you don't have to have everything figured out right now. My biggest piece of advice is just to enjoy now. Start doing your research, start having talks together about what would be important for you guys. Even though we only handle photography, we have so many friends in this industry that I would be happy to share their information with you if you have questions about wedding planning, that kind of thing. So we want you guys to feel open to come with us with questions, whether it's photography related or not. We want you guys to get more comfortable seeing us. This was really uncomfortable for us, not gonna lie. Like, it's very uncomfortable, but we know that it will get easier. So, but like I said, if you're recently engaged and you want to start planning your wedding, message us, ask us questions. We'd be happy to help you. And you got anything? No.
If you got any questions, feel
Yeah.
feel free to reach out, send them our way.
We're always happy to help.
Yeah.
So until next time, we'll see y'all in 2026. Happy New Year. Bye.